Great. We are live, Shefali? Great. Good evening, friends, and good evening, participants. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming again to this exciting series of CEO and HR. And it looks a while back that today we are the 10th series of session of this series, and today I have somebody very interesting from a varied industry, as I promise you always, to bring this learning experience. Thank you, Chef Ali and Young Minds, for this continued partnership, and we look forward to extended session for learning and a great insightful session for our viewers. Today we have our esteemed speaker, none other than Mr. Mohit Rajpal. He is the director and business head of GoIBO and Big My Trip. He is also the ex-co-founder and co of RedBus. Apart from that, he is the PNN and product owner of My Taxi India. Mr. Rajpal is a travel e-commerce specialist with over 11 years of experience of combined experience in travel, tourism, e-commerce, travel technology, internet industries. He has in-depth understanding of startup and challenges and ability to convert them into opportunities. Mr. Rajpal is hands-on with his travel technology products, integrations, operational process, marketing, alliances, strategic partnerships, and has several achievements under his belt. So while this, session, we are extremely grateful to welcome Mr. Rajpal on this session. Thank you so much and welcome Mr. Mohit on this session. And great
Right.
to have you as well.
Thank you.
Am I audible, Mr. Rajpal?
Yes, you're audible. Thanks, Ashish, for the
Thank you
introduction.
so much. And participants, while I was knowing Mr. Rajpal over last 3 weeks, and we became friends on Facebook. And while we move this journey forward, I am taking this session in a reverse order. I have to ask Mr. Rajpal, we have heard so much about travel and tourism in your entire profile. What is your hobby?
Uh, Hello?
Yes, Mr. Rajpal, we
I
are
lost
not.
you at the last.
Yeah, so we have heard travel and tourism so many times in your profile. We will love to start with what is your hobby?
Okay. So my hobbies are playing cricket, right, and reading
Okay.
books. So since now it's been a long down, so going out and playing cricket is not possible, right? So I am spending most of the times by reading books when I get time, and either I surf on the internet. So that's the only option left. And I
Great. I believe my viewers will be anticipating travel would be your hobby, but travel is not. So it is cricket and great. Mr. Rajpal, taking this entire journey forward of your career and today where you reached, we will like to know, and the entire audience would like to know what are the key important things which you did right to reach here, and what are the things if you get an opportunity to do a time travel, you will go back and change to if you want to change anything.
Yeah. So I think on the first side, I would definitely like to highlight and share my thoughts on it. I think I've been fortunate enough to be part of the two main big areas of my life, right? And the big companies, I would say. In 2006, I happened to be part of Yatra.com when it was founding. And if you all remember that in 2016, actually the e-commerce was coming, people was actually learning how to transact online, and there were a lot of infrastructure and compliance was getting in place. So they're getting an opportunity with the right set of company and with right set of people was the key to success. And then another thing happened to me in 2009 when again I was part of the GoIBO founding team again with the right set of people. That's it. It really matters that with whom are you working with. So that time, for us to change was a lot on travel. So in 2009, if we look at the major problem used to be getting a refund. So when you transact online, getting a refund was a nightmare. And we were the first one to come up with an instant refund thing, which people really appreciated, right? And that kept on going. And I think after that, I've been part of many journeys, starting from flights to hotels and hotels to buses. And after that, it was an entrepreneur journey as well. But ideally, these two companies have actually made me and made me learn that how to build an online and e-commerce business, which was key to success. And in my view, what I would like to change if I get an opportunity, uh, I think still lot to solve, and a lot of things are still unfragmented. So today, if we see that we can book flights online, hotels online, bus online, but still holidays, it's still unfragmented. People still needs an assistance where they would like to speak to someone, only then they book. Eventually, yes, people have started exploring and booking by themselves a lot, but still we see people from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and when you're planning a family holiday, you are needing an assistance. So this is where I would like to put more focus so that that can also become an online, right? And people start trusting, and more and over, the more and more content to be added so that people read and book accordingly.
Great, great. Thank you so much. I think that's very important because while we, witness the journey of each individual person, it's also important that we know that what things they have done right. While I would
Correct.
gather that voicing out that the kind of companies which you work and the kind of role is very important for anybody
Yeah.
to craft a good career ahead. In terms
Yeah.
of this e-commerce, e-commerce is the buzzword now. E-commerce is
Mhm.
the world where industry is coming up. It is a recession-proof industry. It is a COVID-proof industry. So, how did you plan to come into e-commerce? E-commerce is not very old in India. It is almost a decade old. It's a very new industry in India, and since it is not seen the boom at it. So, how did you decide that e-commerce is the platform? Is what love for your technology, your experience in technology. How does e-commerce came into your way, especially in terms of an industry which was not very known in the future at that time when you had joined it?
Yeah. So if you look at, I've been part of travel e-commerce since 2006, right? So working with the travel companies, people think that yes, the travel is the base, but now the travel companies have actually become the technology companies, right? So ideally, it is technology. So today, nobody issues a ticket, right? It gets all everything through technology. So in the e-commerce, ideally, one that it helps you to reach to multiple. You reach out to you get an opportunity to reach out to masses, right? You're not only restricted to limited audience, but to reach out to them, you should have a right strategy, right product, and the right experience, I would say, when the customer comes to you. And to support that, you should have a right technology. So at the back layer, I would say technology is the key supporter. So in my view, it's the technology should be, it's fast, right? The first experience which you'd like to give. On the other side, you would like to give the best experience once he comes to you on your platform. And the most important is the post sales. So pre-sales, like the pre-sales is important. Similar way, the post sales is equally important when somebody wants to reach out to you for some issues. So if you maintain these hygienes, then I'm sure that this is how it becomes an e-commerce, right? And which is supported by the technology at the back. And in between that, keep adding innovations, which is the key.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that was very informative for the entire participants and for us to know the travel e-commerce. Also, to add on for the participants, in terms, there is e-commerce in retail space, there is e-commerce in travel space, there is e-commerce in other industries as well. But the platform and technology is very common. Very importantly, in this particular situation today, while we move out and move towards unlocking and we come out of COVID, what is your view as a e-commerce person, not specific to travel, not specific to retail, but as a business development or as a business development head of a particular e-commerce industry, what do you assess? Is this an opportunity for you to multiply the growth, or is it something where you do calm and view what is the happening? So how do you view this particular situation in terms of business?
So I take it as an opportunity, right? So first, that this new normal has taught all of us to work from home, right? And this new normal has again taught us how to work even you're not going to office. So that's the That's, I would say, is a good thing happened to us. On the other side, opportunity is that now you don't have to buy yourself to get a talent. Even if it most talented guy, even from tier two and tier three cities, can be at home and can work from there itself. It's just that it needs an internet access. I think on the other side, it has taught all of us that many things can be done by your own. You don't have to rely on someone. It's not that you always have to talk, but now this new normal has taught us in terms of working from home. And second is punctuality. So we all have been so punctual that if the meeting start time is at 9, we ensure that we all log in at the same time, and also ensure that we are wrapping up the existing meeting so that you can catch up the new one. So there are, I think, we have been more flexible. We have been proactive, and there are a lot of discipline has come, which I have observed. And if this it keeps going on, I'm sure that it will help us as we move.
Great, thank you so much. I think that's a very good part and a positive part of. But as a professional, lot of people have seen very difficult situation also in COVID. Specifically, people from there are some industries which have seen a surge and some industries which have seen a step back. The professionals of those industries who have seen a setback, specifically, I hail from a hospitality industry, so I understand what are the nuances and how we are trying to maneuver and come out of it. But what is your one piece of advice or couple of pieces of advice if you want to give to the professionals who are part of this industry? Do you see this industry coming out very soon or gradually coming out? What advice do you want to give to those professionals still sticking
Yeah.
on to this industry?
Yeah. So these are the unprecedented times. I think we never ever expected that this is going to happen. Like it is a tough time for a professional, it is a tough time for our employers as well, right? I think after a mid March, we all have been locked. We never expected that the business would not have any revenues, but eventually uh, it will come back. I think in the business which we are, it's like a bread and butter, right? And even in the lockdown three, if you see now, people have started moving out. There is an essential travel happening, and even people are moving out only for essential things. But the moment the vaccination is comes or some relief comes, you would see people would start coming out. So nevertheless, from between 6 to 12 months down the line, it will, I would not say that it would come what it was earlier, but we expect a recovery of close to 60-70%, and it depends to many business. And I would say ideally it matters to a for a respective business. It could be food and it could be other thing as well,
Correct.
not specific to travel. But I would not discuss only travel, but it depends business to business.
Thank you so much. I think that's very important because most of the professionals who are part of hospitality setup, and in my also I propagate the same to my employees. A temporary setback cannot be a permanent loss, and that
Yes.
is what you are doing the same thing. I think that's really motivating for all of us and the people who are part of this industry.
I
I want
think
to understand. I
yeah.
want to also understand from you in terms of, as you told, this is unprecedented times. COVID is unprecedented. But in terms of technology, I will focus upon technology, which is very important, and that gives a way forward look up for many other people who are into HR or into IT or into business development who are watching our program to get an advice that what they need to do. So, what do you think? After this, organizations will be much mature and more planned in terms of to mitigate situations like this. What is your advice to them in terms of technology, investment in technology? Because most of the people hold up on investment in technology due to the cost and the infrastructure required for the same. But what is your advice on expenditure of technology and importance of technology?
Yeah. So importance of technology has been going, I would say it's been in years, and it will keep on happening. You would see more and more innovations happening in each and every sector. talking about especially to the business development again, through technology, through the video video chats and video meetings, we all have been taught to finish our jobs. That's the one thing which we all have been taught. It's not that it is always required to have a face-to-face meeting, which is actually good. The moment you meet with someone, you build a rapport. But on the technology front, we have been taught to close it online, right? So you have seen many other startups already working on it. Zoom is the biggest example, but I've seen many small and medium sized of startups have already started building this tool, like where our PM also emphasizes that local and vocal. So the companies have started working on it already, and we see many other startups coming up which are focusing more on reliability, safety, and asking people to be to be online through video calling and finishing their jobs. Apart from that, I would see that since the work from home has been a norm, the many companies would work on a technology which can control the productivity or measure productivity, which I'm sure the many companies would be working on. The technology teams are already in place. So that's, I see that, yes, it's coming up.
Great, thank you so much. I think these kind of advice is very important because organizations realize the importance of technology, and when it comes, the people who are using and emphasizing this technology really makes an impact. Let me bring this discussion to the next phase of leadership. So let me take you back to the history of your college days when you were there, the young Mohit Rajpal in college, and today Mohit Rajpal, director of a big company. How has been this journey? How do you feel? What did at the college time? What was there? What was your thought process when you passed out? And today, what is as a visionary? People call you in the industry as a visionary because you can, at a very young age, you have achieved a lot of success. So, what has changed? What have you done? If you can share some key facts and some secrets so that participants will be really, helpful and use that in their career.
Yes, good question. And definitely would love to share on it. I think lot to do, and still long way to go is the first thing. But when I was in college, I think after even doing my 12th standard, there was an entrepreneurship in my mind. And the moment when you're from a middle class and you are hunger to do something, so what I did during my college days, I also applied for a year program of electronics engineering. Why it was that? Because I wanted to set up my electronics factory. So if we go back in 2003-4, FM used to be like anything. We didn't have smartphones. We all used to listen FM, and I could see a lot of company used to assemble FMs. They used to tune the frequencies and used to sell. So I had things in mind that yes, people in tier 2 and tier 3 are more familiar because they really want to listen songs, and FM is the one medium they could listen to. And I should assemble these and start selling to all retailers which are in Chandni Chowk and all. And to do this, I should have a practical knowledge. So what I did, with my college days, I jumped into the electronics diploma, I would say. And since the theoretical knowledge was important, I thought that okay, I have to learn the practical knowledge as well. So I spoke to someone in the relatives who were in the same setup. I said that don't pay me anything, but allow me to come to your factory and assemble this by my own. That was the only agenda. So during my college days, managing that electronics diploma, I could manage the time to go to their factory and work. So that kept on happening close to 10 to 12 months. So again, the idea was that I wanted to set up, but somehow once I completed, I could not do that setup. But again, there was a lot of learning. So from the day one, it was clear that I wanted to build a business. But from moving on, again, happened. I would say that I've been fortunate to got into Yatra, which was again starting. So that was a turning point. Again, meeting with the right company and right set of people who were associated with me. A lot of learning from them, and from there, actually learned how to build a startup, which is an e-commerce, which is again uh, have a strong supportive support of technology. I think in 2006, I would say still there used to be a wave that yes, you should have a manpower. But in 2009, when I was with GoIVivo, it was hardcore technology, where the it's changed that okay, to build an online business, you don't need a man force like retail. So that was a complete strategical change, and from there, building up flights business and moving to hotels and buses, one of the success story that in GoIVivo, so which happened so successfully in GoIVivo that the Red Bus was acquired, right? So that is one of the eureka moment for my life. And then after that, spending some time with Musafir, again jumping into the entrepreneurship. So I think that as an entrepreneur, when I jumped into it, that actually changed my thinking and change of the way things work. So what I feel that difference of leadership and entrepreneur, right? Leaders would want that yes, they should give directions and they would want that their team to work, but entrepreneur would want that yes, one that they should give direction and he should also do the work. So it's always to get the things done from the team members, but sometimes it is equally important that you should also do it because you never know the circumstances. So if the circumstances arises, you should know how to do it. That's an equally important. But apart from that, I think in entrepreneurship, it gives you a lot of exposure in terms of taking risks. So one of the scenario which I would like to share, and every startup has one funda that okay, sustainability.
Correct.
Sustainability is the key. As sustainability can only happen either you have a smart revenues, or you have a big big ticket check after your company, right? So I remember that yes, in 2016 mid, we used to have a 6 months runway, and I think this happens with every company, right? And we had to participate in an event which could eat our 3 months runway. So it was a die or do or die case. So I said that okay, we have 6 months. If we lose, it will be 3 months. But if we success, it will add up to 1.5 year more.
Correct.
So we could take that risk. I said that okay, let's take this risk. There is no worse than this. Let's try. And we presented our idea and the company in Rise, which happened in Hong Kong. There were close to 1,000 of companies presenting, pitching to investors, and we were also one of them. And with the three rounds, like one pitch, two pitch, three pitch, we were the winner of that. And since we were winner, we not only got the international award, we also closed one of the investment. So it helps you to take a calculative risk sometime, and sometime you have to listen your mind and heart both and jumped into it. Entrepreneurship is something you are already in the sea, right? So you have to swim and sometimes take a calculative risk and go with the flow, I would say then.
Okay, thank you so much. I think, this was my leading question, which you also partly answered. You have taken two things very importantly in your career while I was, viewing your profile and, reading more about you. You joined a startup, which most of the learned professionals avoid. Second, after doing, you went into entrepreneurship, which is again a mark of a courage, risk taking, gut feeling, whatever you can name this. Again, you came back to the full time employment and
Yeah,
leading, travel agency.
yeah.
This kind of career span is very unique. I have, as in HR, into last 12 years, I have not seen somebody like that. How do you do it? As you told, risk. So most of the professionals have a liability, have a dependency about their family and all. These kind
Yeah.
of risks are not easy to take. What prompted you to take risk not once, twice in your career, and you hit bingo and you came back successful? What did you do right on this risk?
So I think at an entrepreneur level, I took only one risk. So I was in Dubai. It wasn't a fancy job. I left it in 2015, right? So again, this risk was when I was about to become a father and my wife was 6 months pregnant. And I thought that, the the biggest risk in life is not taking any risk. And I joined in a startup as a co-founder with some equity. The thought was, uh, to do something big. So in 2015, if you see, it was a wave where if you have an idea and if you're able to get customer onto your platform, you were getting many big names of investors backing you. But on the same side, you should solve the right thing. That was the key, and you should solve for the community. And so this is what the idea was, and the idea was unique in the nature, and which was on the taxi front. So what we were solving the outstation one. So people can book intracity through Ola, Uber, but booking an outstation taxi was a challenge that time. And we thought that, okay, it is a challenge. Let's give a supply and a demand link both and build it, right? So starting from there, I think we could build the right technology. We got right set of investors, right? But the thing which was in my mind that yes, I want to really want to take this business to a next level. In my view, a time when in 2017, or I would say 2016 mid, we saw that two biggies also jumped into the same business.
Correct.
I think that was a setback, and I would not say that it wasn't a sustainable business that time. It was, but to make it to the next level was a question. So in my case, I thought that okay, what I'll do, the others too can continue, and definitely since they are doing well and they'll take it to the next level. But I was not very confident, so I thought that okay, I should take it back, and I jumped into the corporate business.
Great.
So
I think
lot to learn from there, but not to hesitate. Things were not clear in my mind, so I came back.
good. I think it's we always look into this kind of, because this becomes for us specifically a very enriching and a very model kind of career. Some people who might see you and follow you closely might not be as successful, and they can do a lot of damage to their career. Specifically, why I answered this question for you, why I asked this and wanted you to answer, because most of the people start idealizing. They need to, you must have done right kind of analysis, you must have done the right kind of strategy, you must have done the right kind of planning. Whenever we do
Yeah.
something unorthodox, we do all these things. We have crossed 30 minutes and realized we have not spoken anything about HR. So this is CEO and HR series, and let me move on to the HR, because a lot of HR folks are there and the participants are there. For them, I want to know your first interaction with HR and how did you feel, and please be very honest.
So I think my first interaction was pretty honest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, your first interaction with HR and how did you feel? When was your first interaction with HR?
am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So my first interaction was in 2016 when I joined Yatra, right? Uh,
We just lost your voice. We just lost your voice.
okay. Am I audible? Okay. So my first interaction was with the Yatra.com when I in 2006. I don't remember the HR name, but I still remember the day one. I have a bunch of files which I'm carrying with me and giving it to her everything at the time of joining. That time I could realize that yes, it is a tedious job. In the first day of yours, you're carrying all your documentation to show that yes, it's all genuine. And the first thing I think it was a nervousness since I was joining my first company, right? On the other side, I was excited too that yes, I will be part of the online business, which is the future. What I could realize that that time the connectivity was missing, right? When you join, and especially when you're a fresher, you would want more connect to happen so that you can feel relaxed. So that I could still realize that wasn't there. Otherwise, the interaction was pretty good. I think they were prominent on the joining. whatever they said that okay, my system was ready, my uh, rest of the stuff was ready, that was on time. So good job on that. I thought that if it would have been more connected, I would have felt more better.
Good. Thank you so much. I think that's a very important point for all of us to know, to connect with the new joiners and the people who are joining the family. I would want you to answer now in terms, the HR as you told. You have seen HR as a startup, you have seen HR as an entrepreneur, you have seen HR as an employee. What has been your understanding about this function, and how has the department changed? You have seen, in terms of HR function as a key deliverable, how it has changed over the years, last a decade. Would you like to,
Yeah.
and also to
So
add on, if you can add an expectation from HR? I think that's a leading question. I'll ask that.
uh, I would definitely share my limited points here, and I think it is evolving. And if I go back 10 years back and now, things have really changed. There are technology tools have been used, that's for sure. I still remember in 2006 managing attendance, and now managing attendance now is purely changed, right? Uh, so now it's evolving, and I've seen many, and most of the companies are using the technology, and HR is still playing a critical role in any company to interact with people, right? And it is actually an important role. So what I feel that yes, it helps you connect to the people to pass the right information, which is related to which can be related to anything, right? And it also helps you in engagements, right? So now uh, s- uh, in many startups and in many organized companies as well, HR plays a major role getting people at one platform, because when you are in business, you are only interacting and talking about the business itself. But HR is a one prospect that which helps you to discuss and participate apart from business, right? And especially in my entrepreneur journey, it has played a really a major role, because when you are in a startup, to build a right team is equally important apart from managing other aspect, where HR has played a very important role for me by getting a right set of people and closing the position within the time frame. So I still remember that, if you have a commitment to launch something by the X months, and if you don't have team, how will you build? So where it may play role by defining the policies, discipline. It had played a big role in my entrepreneurship journey, and still it still plays a big role currently as well.
Thank you so much. I think that the kind of expectation is very important, and where it comes from a business leader, that in terms of being an HR partner, as a business partner role, in terms of embracing technology, and also to focus on people productivity and engagement. That's what the expectation from a business leader is. I also want to ask you a question, as we talked about productivity, which you also mentioned. Most of us are work from home, as you mentioned, in the new normal, and productivity, assessing productivity of any employee, because that is the task which business leader gives to an HR, that please see whether he is productive or not. Would you like to throw a light on this? How do you assess productivity when people are working from home? Does that any tools, any you use, or do you use, anything changes when you measure productivity? How do you do that? If you can.
So in my view, I think we all are mature, right? Rather than measuring on the tools, I think measure a person on an output. So that's very important. So as a business leader, we know that we have defined KRAs, defined KPIs, and we all know what to do. Now it depends on a person that whether he completes in a 6 hours or whether he does it in 10 hours. At the end, the person should be judged on output. So if there is an output, I think there is no second question. So output is enough to measure
Great.
the
I think
performance, I
you
would say.
played this. You played this question really well, and it was a straight drive for a four. So I know, So, but going forward, I will ask specifics on this question, specifically as a COVID, which has taught us a lot of things, and the technology trigger has made business acceleration also.
Hmm. Hmm.
The employee, what are the some policies which you would like HR to focus upon taking
Yeah.
learning from this course? Very important, policy formulation is very important as part of KRA for HR, but any specific policies you want HR and the companies to prioritize?
Yeah. So in my view, I think policies and KRA's experts should definitely comment. But in my view, what should happen, I would definitely like to share, especially in COVID scenarios, people are not interacting. So one that so today when we are interacting, we are only interacting for a work. Either we are calling someone that okay whether this work is done or not, or we are interacting with a person with some meeting which is again related to work. So what is missing is the connectivity. Like when we were in office, we used to talk to people. Sometimes someone is next to you. You still used to talk to that guy or girl for 5 to 10 minutes, and used to share, which we feel is missing. And I think if there is a connectivity session is organized or is implemented within this work from home schedule, will give a lot of relief, because there you will discuss some other points apart from work. So that should help in fixing the bridge which used to happen when we used to go to office, which is not happening. So I think that will also be a good point if the connectivity, if HR brings a connectivity.
Anything specific would you like to mention about medical facilities, anything which employees would, in terms of medical, group
So
medical policies?
I think companies are already covering medical policies. I think that remain unchanged. That has been
Moving
already.
on to this, in terms of, let us talk about something a wish list. Somebody, I was there in some panel day for yesterday, and they asked the wish list where we spoke about gig economy as terms of employment. So most of, as Indian labor laws do not allow double employment. But with this COVID, if that becomes, a visible future, where, based on individual's talent, he works for multiple organizations for a short durations, and he is under a retention contract. Do you see this kind of employment feasible, viable, and effective in India?
So I think, in my view, that is called as consultant, right? If you are a consultant and not committed to any of the organization, definitely you would love to jungle on, right?
Correct.
But in my view, when you need actual productivity, not the productivity, actual output from a guy, he needs to be
Mhm.
a full time with that company. That's very important. So think of a guy who's consulted in 4 companies. I'm sure that he will be giving his 25-30% time to each of that, right? And think of a guy who gives 100% to one company. So his output, his thoughts, his capability to remember things would be more than that guy. So think of that, within one organization, you still do multitasking. And if you have 4 projects, you will have to multitasking further. So in that scenario, what happens? You actually you only give the overview, but don't go granular. But in full time, people go granular. So when you go granular, you actually come out with the best things.
Great. I think thank you. You also narrate that statement that it might not be everybody might not accept jack of all trades, master of none. So you
Hmm.
have to be jack of one trade to be master, as what you your
Yeah.
voice echo. Very importantly, as a business leader, when you manage such a wide platform and such a wide geography, there are two angles where, as HR and as normal human beings, I'm using the word of normal human beings who are not into that leadership driver's seat, see two things. One is empathy and one is cost.
Hmm.
Empathy and cost. And very difficult, stage to balance
Yeah.
both of them, especially in the crisis period. How do you do that? In terms, how do you, what advice do
Yeah.
you give to the employees who are managing things?
Yeah. So I think especially in the crisis days, it's a unprecedented times, and it was a difficult times for anyone, right? We would never want that these times to ever come. But nevertheless, I think as an entrepreneur or as a leader, you would want that first, that your variable cost to cut, right?
Correct.
Because that's the most important thing. You would want that all your extra spends to reduce, so that you can manage your cost well. At the end, people are the asset for your company, which will actually help you in the good times. So, in my view, to manage that, one, the variable cost and other ways, but asking people to move is a really the end of era. But I think there are many ways before that. You have a variable cost. You would want that, okay, you know, this team, this team to be this X money to be distributed within the teams. So I think you would see that many companies have done it already in a better way by cutting their variable cost and the extra spends. But that last wala thing is a end moment, I would say. As a leader, I would want that yes, the people should be with us because they have actually given their best to that process or a business, and the best is yet to come. So I would still keep on going with that team by cutting
So
rest of the
thanks.
costs.
I want to tell my participants whatever Mr. Mohit has said now. This is both his personal as well as organizational point of view. Why? Because it has come from a person who belongs to travel tourism hospitality. We might not get these same words if people come from any other industry, and that's the core backbone. We this industry a people centric industry, and that's what people is in the focus always. We have also come to know from relevant sources that in your team you are very popular, you love to hang around with everybody, and you have some amazing techniques of employee engagement to bind your team together. As you mentioned about leadership, leader cannot be a leader if you don't have followers, and there's a huge following in the company which you naturally garner. We want to know ऐसा क्या करते हैं, ऐसा क्या engagement करते हैं कि सारे महफिल आपके एकदम people are after you. And everybody is so keen to work with Mohit Rajpal's team.
Oh, that's good to hear. I was thinking that they are afraid of me, but good to hear. I think first is you should be approachable, right? What I feel that whatever you do, it should be lead by example. On the other side, don't impose things on people. Hear their views. They can also be right when they are talking to you or giving any idea. So approach wise, you should be very approachable. On the other side, accept that if something's right happening next to you. So, and then when you're working, just think about work, but when you're partying, just think about party. And since we are an online business, so be flexible and multitasker and keep running the show, which I would suggest.
Thank you so much. I think that will really motivate a lot of other leaders to be with their team. Also, very important point is that whatever we have learned, you are very straightforward and you are very policy oriented person in terms of abiding by the policies. Many people we have seen when they reach at a very senior level, in terms of they feel that the laws can be tweaked, the policies can be tweaked, and whatever they say, they are sometimes very politically correct. And people find not, but in terms of you, this is absolutely so. What has you inculcated to keep these two very important and positive attributes still intact? That you are very straightforward and you are very policy minded person.
Yeah. So I think it depends. Where are you working? That also matters, right? So in my view, I am working with an organization which is policy oriented and very employee friendly, right? They take care of people really good. And I think when the employer thinks about you, the employee should also think on the same things. So I personally feel that whatever you do, give 100%, right? And 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 ensure that you are you are following all the applicable policies. And at the end, if you follow that, it's good for the business and good for the org. So
Good.
policies are made to follow, not to rule it. So if somebody has to rule it, I would suggest put your point forward when that those are being circulated. So that's the right time. But breaking that is not an option.
Thank you so much. In our HR technology or in HR terminology, we say the people like you is an ideal employee, a model employee. So we wish we had more kind of model employees in our organization, which are easily to ज़्यादा समझाना नहीं पड़ता, naturally समझ जाते हैं. We have also come to know that and we have seen that you have been very pro student in terms of working towards student, grooming them for the new generation and the Youngistan for the better India tomorrow. What is one piece of advice you want to give to the all young students who are in part of this platform today?
Yeah.
In terms, they must be aware about their careers, the new job aspirants. What do you want to suggest them? How they do things
Yeah.
differently and make them successful?
Sure. So my advice would be they should adapt the new normal, right? And they should not be demotivated at all. There'll be many opportunities coming in our way. It's just a time which will pass on, and this is a time which we all never expected. And one thing is that now you can be more innovative. There are many things which have started gaining traction. So if you see education, it's booming like anything, right? Now, not only we are working from home, we are also learning online. So this is again an opportunity for many, many new students to find out the gaps and come up. Again, we all are pushing towards local and vocal, where there are there are many manufacturing things which can be built in India only. There are, so what they need to do, apart one, that definitely the jobs will be there, but if somebody wants to focus more and more on entrepreneurship, they should find out the gaps in existing things and should build on that. There are a lot many opportunities coming in our way. It's just a time which will definitely pass on. Definitely.
Thank you so much. I think that's very motivating because people should not take this as a permanent. I will, before I move on to the last section of our idiot question, which is something which we do I will like to call Shefali. She has introduced both of us and she is not visible. She has become Mrs. India now. So Shefali, if you can come and, ask certain questions to Mr. Mohit and, give your views. I could not realize we just crossed 50 minutes. It was so easy discussion. ना मिस्टर मोहित was seamless. ऐसा लग रहा था कि boy next door का interview ले रहे हैं.
And I was just enjoying your conversation, Ashish. So, one is that I was looking for an answer, and Mohit gave it on his own. So, that question was, somebody called me yesterday and he said, Madam, thoda attitude लाइए अपने अंदर, and you should not be easily approachable. So I was thinking, is there a need that I should not be easily approachable, or it should be the case should be reversed that I should be easily approachable to anyone? And just now Mohit mentioned in his conversation that the person should be easily approachable. So it took me 24 hours. I was just thinking around this question. And when Mohit suddenly answered this question, I thought I was right. And had it been that मैं अपने आप को ऐसा बना लेती कि मैं approachable नहीं हूँ तो पता नहीं क्या होने वाला था मेरे साथ. So a lot of people with lot of different mindsets, different perceptions. So, but yes, very correct that we all should have our own perceptions and we all should have our own rules, which we should follow. We will come across a lot of people who will, that guy might not be misleading me, but he might be telling me that, Madam, अब आप webinar करती हो तो attitude दिखाओ. I said, so what is the purpose of attitude? We should be really visible. I mean, like today Mohit joined us and he's so polite and he answered all the questions. And I think we all should be easily approachable.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shefali. Very kind of, and definitely that is what I heard from the team members or the industry, whatever, whoever knows Mohit. So that's very important thing which he mentioned, specifically that as leaders, you have more responsibility. So you should not exercise your powers to unuse it or misuse it. You use your powers to, groom people, to do talent management, to motivate them so that you help the organization at the larger scale. Great. Thank you, Mr. Mohit. I think, the session has been really wonderful. We'll move on to the set of idiot questions which were designed by Shefali, and, we do it with all the esteemed speakers always. So my
All right.
first of idiot question, I will say it idiot because we justify, because these might not be that relevance. But for us, it is lot of relevance because we want to know our leader better, and the people who are there in the platform want to know. How do you self-motivate?
Okay. So I'm a self-motivated guy, right? I don't need any push. So when you have a vision and you have courage to do something, you will always feel motivated. And there are some times when you feel that, okay, what has happened? I would suggest take a break for 30, 35 minutes, talk to your peers whom you actually talk, and come back to the new normal. So when you have a vision in front of you and you have actually zeal to do something, you will never feel demotivated. You will always feel motivated.
Good. I
Again,
think
depends person to person.
that's a brilliant answer for this, because most of the people go for classes. Me and Shefali keep discussing about students, how do we motivate them. So motivation is more of a state of mind like happiness, which you can say.
Yeah,
You also
absolutely.
know you are a great foodie. So what is your favorite food?
Okay. So I think I would say, I would not say that I like very spicy food and not very particular. I'm a kind of a person who gels. Whatever is good and as per my taste, I take it. But especially, I love non-veg, so which I've started cooking during the lockdown. So
Okay.
somehow, uh, in my whole life, I've never cooked, but in this lockdown, I've started cooking, and now I am, you know, giving this chicken to my dad and my Jeej and all that. Okay, now I've cooked it, you taste it, and so they all are liking it.
Good experimental. Yeah, I think there's a round of
Yeah.
applause for your innovation in this. Um, you think like a businessman or a salesman.
So I think one businessman should have both. So first you should be a salesman and then a businessman. So if you're not any of them, then no use. So one business guy should be a salesman as well, and one salesman should think like a business as well. Only then you can take it to the next level.
Great. Who helped in your career? A terrible boss or a good boss?
So I think in my life and in my career, I would really like to thank Mr. my ex boss Deepak Tuli, Sanjay Bhasin, and Vikalp Sani. So they were the actual founders of Go IBO. But the kind of opportunities and the free hand I was given, it was really amazing. I think it really matters that you know, somebody has a skill and a zeal, but he only learns if he is given a free hand, and that actually happened with me. So thanks to them. I definitely wanted to call out, so I did that.
Great. Thank you so much. And how do you manage failures?
So failures always give you some learning. So I take it as a learning. So every part or chapter of your life can never be a success, but yes, it can give you a great lesson. So I take it in a positive way. I find out that okay, with this failure, where were the gaps? And when I implement next, I ensure that okay, those are taken as a positive things and I do the right things with them. So
Thank
that
you so much.
that's not
We
repeated.
got the same statement which we always keep hearing: you never fail. Either we win or we learn. You know. And while we take this forward, last two questions. Uh, in terms of risk ability, whom do you go back? And if you have taken a risk and you don't know, you are waiting for a result the other next day. What do you do to kill that anxiety, that time period?
Okay. So I think that I would go and talk to my wife. I
Okay.
think she's been a great supporter to me, and whatever happens to me, I do discuss with her, and we're just like a friend. So whatever is happening in my life or happened, she knows in and out. So I would go to her and talk.
Good. I think you answered this question, and a couple of people are looking at me with a very weird eyes because you go back to, because I am still a bachelor. But the last question of this series, and I just feel the time has eased out, and I could not realize at a point that we are over a call and we have a 1 hour session. Vision, as you mentioned about when you have vision, you are very positive, you are self motivated. How do we see Mohit Rajpal in next a decade, or what vision do you have for yourself, both
Yeah.
from a personal point of view and professional point of view?
Okay. So good question, but here I would just give the answer as a diplomatic way, right? So yes, there is a vision and there are plans, but I would go with the flow. As the time comes, I think we all will see. So sometime you have to just accept the life as it is, and you have to just go with the flow. Just keep waiting and wait for the right time to come so that you can jump. But yes, the vision is it's pretty encouraging, right? Which everyone has, that you want to reach toward this level. But since it's a live video, I would just limit my point and would say that I'm just going as the time allows.
पानी को कौन रोक सकता है, उसका बहाव तो निरंतर निर्मला है. इसी with this statement, we come to at the end of the session and realize it has been one of the very easy sessions I have taken. I did not have much stress. The stress which came back, that I had lot of limitations of not to ask certain questions due to the discrimination. But I feel so happy that even with that kind of limitations, your answers could do justice to everybody, right from the students to the HR leaders to the business leaders to the entrepreneurs. And specifically your point of you always are self-motivated if you have vision, I think really justifies personally me and Shefali both. I can echo with both of us because we have been over almost 9 months we know each other now. So, this is a very important quality, Mr. Mohit. HR Sampark and Young Minds are really indebted and privileged to have you on a series. Thank you so much, Shefali, for introducing and getting connected to Mr. Mohit. A great learning thing, and we are truly, truly happy to have and to spend your time for a precious time on a Sunday evening for our viewers. We look forward to connect with you, Mr. Mohit, again, and many more other avenues. If we do, we look forward for your inclination and time. I hope you enjoyed as well the discussion.
Yes. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Shefali. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mohit.
Be safe,
Thanks,
and be happy. Whatever weekend is left, enjoy and gear up for the big day coming. Thank you so much, participants. Thank you so much signing off. Bye. Goodbye.